Movement that started in New York makes its way down to North Carolina. We'll introduce you to the Occupy Greensboro movement.
Unemployment is up in North Carolina. I'm Sophie Nielsen-Colding. I'll take you inside this business later in the show to show you what the owner thinks is part of the problem.
Happy Halloween! Looking to get scared tonight? We'll take you to one haunted attraction nearby.
I'm Jason Puckett.
And I'm Nicole Chadwick. All that and more tonight on Phoenix 14 News.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. Social media started yet another protest, this one here in the U.S. Now it's known as the Occupy Wall Street movement.
The protest started September 17th. Now it's spread across the country and around the world. Participants are protesting social and economic inequality, corporate greed, and corruption.
The slogan they use is, "We are the 99%, referring to the difference in wealth between the wealthiest 1% and the rest of the population. David Hodges joins us live from the Occupy Greensboro camp.
Critics of the Occupy movement say they are looking for one saying to sum up the protest, but what we found since we've been here is there is not one message but many coming from different people, and one that is particularly close to our community.
Of how broken the system is and how it's not representing the people anymore.
It's getting worse and worse for my kids, and as a parent, and it makes me nervous for my children and all children, that what's the world we're going to give them.
Members join for different reasons, but why many of them pitch a tent and stay is because they want to leave the world a better place. But one of its most committed members has already left quite a legacy at Elon.
I have nothing but love in my heart for Elon.
John was always in the spotlight before graduating with a BFA in acting in 2005. He lives paycheck to paycheck, working part-time at a nonprofit theater company in Greensboro. It's a position he didn't see himself in when he graduated.
I remember thinking like I was on top of the world when I graduated college. And what's great about Occupy Greensboro is that I'm on top of it again. I'm taking responsibility for the society I want to live in. And I would encourage any Elon student, and I think Elon does encourage this, be responsible for the world you live in.
Responsibility for one another, the kind of thing promoted by the center named after John's father when he died. His connections to Elon are deep, even though he's gone from campus to campground. And as both Occupy and Elon expand, he sees their paths intertwined.
You may want to consider coming down and being part of us and changing this system to making sure that the folks that graduate after you can stand up on their own 2 feet the way that we've been able to.
The stage is set for John and the Occupy movement. He's hoping for a happy ending so those at Elon can look forward to a strong beginning.
He isn't trying to scare anyone with the story, rather he's just giving cautionary advice to students that things aren't quite as stable in the job market as they may think they are. He also said that his experience, his background is different than a lot of the other people at the Occupy movement. As you can see behind me, it's campground, it's tents. He's used to campus dorms, but when he shares his experiences, when he shares his stories, it's a bond that grows and becomes only stronger over time. Live in Greensboro, David Hodges, Phoenix 14 News.
We're joined now by Lauren Clapp and Kathleen Blackney, who traveled to New York to participate in Occupy Wall Street over fall break. Thank you, ladies, so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for being here. And New York is quite a bit further than Greensboro, so what inspired you guys to go that far?
Well, it's definitely got to do with the fact that it started there, and for me, it was curiosity. I just wanted to see what it was all about and sort of experience it firsthand.
Yeah, ditto for me. I just think that this is such a big movement and such a unique time in history that I really wanted to be there, right where it's happening, and be there for that moment.
So what was it like being right there in New York where it actually started?
It was amazing. It was fun. It was intense. There was so much that went on while we were there, but it was so worth it. It was awesome.
Yeah, same. I couldn't ask for anything more fun.
And can you see an impact from these movements when you're there?
I think so, definitely. I think I got the sense that the momentum is growing, and that more and more, like as we were there over the course of the weekend, more and more people were coming to the park. So, and I think that it's going to continue to grow. Yeah.
So do you think that it's having an impact? Do you think that people are actually hearing what they're trying to say?
I think so. I mean, I would say even just when we went over fall break, you could ask people about Occupy and they wouldn't know. But while we were there, it was a tourist attraction. People are hearing about it and they're seeing it, and it's really working, I think.
Well, thank you again, ladies, so much for joining us tonight.
Thanks.
Now, a proposal that could bring huge changes to your general studies requirements is off the table. The faculty voted down the changes at a meeting on Friday. According to academic council members, Charles Irons actually, the vote finally came after a very heated debate. The proposal included the changes to the studies of the arts and sciences, the experiential learning requirement, and the foreign language requirement. A team of 18 faculty members worked for more than 3 years to develop the proposed changes. Professors Tom Mold and Rosemary Haskell chaired the committee. In a report from Friday's meeting, Mold and Haskell said they are extremely disappointed in the result. They also hope that parts of the proposal can be reconsidered in the future.
The football player Jamal Schumann is receiving national attention following Saturday's football game, but probably not in the way he hoped. Schumann only touched the ball once during the 48-28 loss to Wofford and turned to Twitter to express his anger. We'd show you the tweets, but they are full of expletives that are not suitable for television. He complained about being sidelined, calling himself one of the best players on the team. He has removed the tweets and has since apologized on Twitter. Today he tweeted, "Whether I get suspended for one game or for the rest of the season, I will still try my best to reverse all the discomfort I caused Elon U." Schumann and the athletic department refused to comment, but we talked to communications professor Michelle Ferrier about the dangers of Twitter.
Be careful when you tweet. Understand what you're writing down, and understand that once you press that button that there are ramifications of that tweet that can reverberate for weeks.
The unemployment rate is high in North Carolina, and people all over the Triad are looking for jobs.
Sophie Nielsen-Colding went to a new business in Greensboro that's hiring. She joins us now with more.
That's right, guys. North Carolina has lost more than 250,000 jobs since September of 2007, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. I went to a new restaurant where plenty of customers are coming in, but there weren't as many potential employees. I found out one of the reasons why. A restaurant and bakery, Nazareth Bread, opened about a week ago, and business is heating up.
Since we've been open every night, I'm going home 1 o'clock. Every day I'm working from 6 to 1, 6 to 1. Yes, sir.
Owner Mazen Saeed thought it would be easy to fill the 10 positions he still has open, especially since the unemployment rate in the Triad is at 10.2%. He explained why he still has openings, even though so many people are looking for work.
I mean, I found a few people really wanted to work, but most of it just want to sit around and just count the hour.
They have plenty of people lining up wanting to buy food. What they need now is more people to line up to want to work back here. Saeed said many applicants aren't willing to sweep, wipe tables, or run the cash register.
Lazy. Let's put it this way.
While Saeed is frustrated with the lack of motivation, Sarah Montgomery said it was frustrating to spend 6 months getting turned down for jobs until she started training for this one a few days ago.
It's like, if you haven't had a job already, then, we don't really want to hire you because you don't know what you're doing, that kind of thing.
She said she knows there are people like her who are willing to work hard.
Thank you. Have a good night.
And Saeed said he'll keep looking for them.
I mean, we need the worker. We need people to work. There's no question about that.
Thanks. Here you guys go.
He's staying optimistic, trying to give people jobs and play a small part to help in the face of such high unemployment. Sophie Nielsen-Colding, Phoenix 14 News. Saeed told me that already that day, one person had showed up late for training and 2 people hadn't shown up at all. Back to you guys.
Even though the number of private sector jobs in North Carolina has increased, the unemployment rate is still rising. According to the State Employment Security Commission, the unemployment rate rose to 10.5% in September. The increase of about 5,000 unemployed people is due to the loss of government jobs, largely the layoffs of teachers and teaching assistants. North Carolina's September unemployment rate is 1.4% higher than the national rate. If you have student loans, you may want to listen up. President Obama has a new proposal aimed at helping forgive student loans. His plan would reduce the maximum required yearly payment from 15% to 10% and would require remaining debt to be forgiven after 20 years instead of 25. To be eligible, borrowers must have student loans in 2012 and have had loans in at least one of the past 4 years. Student loans are the #1 source of American household debt, and Obama's proposed plan could affect up to 1.6 billion borrowers.
For the 5th year in a row, Elon has been named one of the nation's top 50 value private schools. Elon was ranked number 35 on the list and was one of just 9 universities that cost less than $37,000 a year. Each school was judged on quality of academic programs and financial cost. Duke, Wake Forest, and Davidson are also on that list. The human papillomavirus infects 6 million Americans a year, but that 6 million isn't just girls.
Right, Nicole, the CDC recently amended their recommendation of the HPV vaccine to include boys as young as age 9. But even with this new guidance, the number of people who have actually heeded the doctor's advice is still low.
I've not gotten the HPV shot.
I have not.
Are you planning on getting it?
I don't really know. If a doctor recommended it to me, yes.
It might not have come up in your most recent visit, but the effects could save your life. The HPV vaccine protects patients from many diseases, including cancer. And new research from the CDC shows that now girls and boys both benefit from the vaccine.
With any vaccine, if you're targeting a population, it's best to target the entire population.
Dr. Yuko Miyamoto is an expert in immunology and a professor at Elon.
When you get a vaccine, one of the things that works is that your immune system gets a chance to recognize whatever it is that's going to be causing a disease.
Although this vaccine has been on doctors' radars for years, CDC surveys say that only around 40% of girls ages 13 to 17 have started the vaccine. Out of that, about half of those patients have had all 3 shots in the series.
You have the risk of if you don't get vaccinated before, you're not giving your body a chance to be able to mount an immune response to that foreign invader.
50% of men and women get HPV during their lifetime, and like any vaccine, it works best before you come into contact with the virus. So patients should get the vaccine early. If you can get your series of shots, go to the Ellington Health Center, but it's not covered by your health insurance.
If you went to the state fair this year, you could be at risk for contracting E. coli. There have been 24 cases of E. coli, and it's suspected the infection is linked to the fair. The bacteria comes from animal feces, and people become infected by touching animals or consuming food and water that came into contact with the bacteria. Health officials are still trying to identify the source of this infection.
Coming up on Phoenix 14 News, the Elon baseball coach raised money for breast cancer research. We'll show you how he did it later in the show.
And stray cats roam around Elon, and one Elon student is trying to find them a new home.
And it's not unusual for bricks to be stolen on campus. What is unusual is who's being blamed for it. That story coming up next.
She understands why some do.